What was it like to be a Roman slave? Have you ever wondered what life would be like if you were born in the Roman era as a slave? The Roman Empire's history has always been captivating. Unfortunately, this has come at the expense of its slaves. We celebrate Roman architecture, recognize their unique ruling style, and marvel at their culture. However, we forget the millions, like Maximus in the Gladiator movie, who suffered horrible fates for being prisoners of war and conquest in the Roman Empire. Today we will explore what was it like to be a Roman slave. No right as a human. Slaves were not Roman citizens because, for all intensive purposes, they were not considered human beings. People felt nothing for you. Nobody cared if you got sick, tired, or hungry. Nobody would flinch if you died from exhaustion. Many slaves would drop suddenly and die from being too tired. Your master had the right to handle you as they saw fit. They would, for no reason, whip you to death. Nobody would come to your rescue. You would be lucky if you got a decent burial. Slave markets had naked people bound in chains as potential masters vetted them as you would clothe in a mall. Defects, frailty, or evident rebellion would cost you your life. Rejects got killed immediately. You probably found yourself at the slave market as a prisoner of war. Greeks were the common slaves in most markets because of their frequent fights with the Romans. The people selling you would have killed your entire family and taken you for the purpose of making a little profit. Depending on your strength and abilities, you would either 1. End up as a domestic worker in the fields or house. Field slaves got the most intense labor compared to house slaves. They also worked in worse conditions, from the scorching summer heat to the deathly winter cold. 2. You could become a prisoner of the empire and suffer the fate of prisoners. Death, or living in dungeons chained, flogged, humiliated, and overworked until you died. You would die at the hands of a Roman soldier or fellow prisoner. 3. You could become a gladiator like Maximus and fight other equally gruesome slaves, prisoners, or wild animals to death as entertainment for the Roman crowd. No reward for labor. Slaves got no pay for their toil. You were bought at a price to work until you died. There was no way to gain freedom or purchase it back. You are a beast of labor, just like a donkey, mule, or oxen. You cannot own property or enter into a contract with another human being. Not allowed to marry. As a slave, you could not marry another human being, not even marry another slave. If you were in a relationship with a slave partner, you could establish a traditional home of some sort. However, your children would automatically become slaves of your master. If your master fancied you, they could only marry you once they purchased your freedom. Then you would become a freed man. However, Roman senators were not allowed to marry freed men because that would taint their sacredness and pure Roman blood. Senators considered themselves inferior only to gods. Therefore, they could not casually mingle with slaves. Prepare for mistreatment. Your master had the legal right to deal with you as they pleased. They could kill, wound, rape, or mistreat you without consequences. As a slave, living was a nightmare. Slaves had no proper place to sleep or live. You would be sleeping in a heap of straw, the kitchen, hallway, or attic. Your clothes would be torn and worn out, and you would be barefoot. You also had to say goodbye to any form of comfort. You could be mercilessly whipped and expected to continue working despite your wounds. You also got branded, just like animals, to show possession. Slaves had no fair treatment, only cruel mistreatment. You had little to no food or got what animals ate for meals. You woke up to work when the day dawned and only slept to begin your toil the following day until your last breath. Have you been enjoying this video? Our YouTube data shows that 0.1% of our viewers aren't subscribed, and we hope you're not a part of that. But if you are, let's have that fixed. Go right ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you never miss another video. The other side of things. For the most part, slaves were treated the worst at their master's hands. However, there were a few exceptions to the norm. There was a hierarchy of slave treatment. The more attractive, intelligent, and gifted a slave, the better their experience in bondage. For instance, the Romans treated educated Greek slaves well. They would be teachers, doctors, librarians, or private musicians and artists. The Greeks were at the forefront of their quest for knowledge. The Romans highly regarded the Greeks because the Roman Empire got birthed from Greek foundations. Talented and intelligent slaves also got a better treatment. They could get educated by their masters and work out ways to earn their freedom. Nevertheless, for the majority of slaves, their reality was hell on earth. A revolt is as good as a death sentence. As a slave, only your master could grant you your freedom. You could not fight, avenge, or run away successfully. It would be impossible to escape a rich owner without being captured or taken by another eager Roman as a slave. Many slaves tried to escape. One such person was Spartacus. Spartacus was captured and taken into slavery at Thrace. He became a gladiator, entertaining the Romans at the expense of his life. As a gladiator, he organized a successful revolt in 73 BC, earning him freedom. Many runaway slaves joined his successful quest. He eventually gained an army of 900,000, made of freedmen and outlaws fighting at his side. He even managed to stop 4 Roman armies from capturing his fort in modern-day Italy. Unfortunately for Spartacus, he and his army of rebels could not get out of Italy. The Roman Senate in 71 BC sent a large army, outnumbering Spartacus's men. They captured Spartacus and crucified his soldiers on crosses. Their crops were left to rot for months as a warning to any planned future rebellion. The attraction curse. While attractive slaves could work at the house and at least get shade from the scorching sun or the harsh elements, they were more prone to sexual mistreatment. They were also within the vicinity of their master's watchful eyes. Therefore, they were more prone to getting punishments. The master's spouses would also become vengeful because of these attractions and load their frustrations on the slaves. As the attractive slave, you were doomed if you did and doomed if you did not submit to your master's whims and wishes. Meager chance at freedom. Your only way out of slavery was by your master permitting your freedom. The odds of attaining freedom were very slim. There is no record showing such pardons. We are, however, going with mere speculation because the numbers were so little to leave a mark in history. The norm was, once a Roman slave, always a Roman slave. If you enjoyed this video, here's another video for you.